All of those transactions we saw was from one single user, one single HBAR partner. Can you imagine the future where there are dozens of HEDERA Governing Council members not just testing applications, but using them at scale, billions of transactions? And that's where we believe utility can drive token price. What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everybody's doing well, and let's kick it off with some crypto news. We're going to talk about a variety of altcoins, price charts, and really just catch up because it's been about 5 to 6 days since my last video, and I should be back to my regular schedule. So over the past 2 months, I've been, I was back in the States for a couple weeks for Thanksgiving and first week of December. Then we flew back with the in-laws, had them over for about a week, so just being the host, and then a 2-day break, and then more family came out for another week, so I was showing them around, and then met up with some crypto guys, taking the kitten back and forth to the vet as well, so she's doing good, FYI, little street kitty we found. And then after that, I had my parents come out for a week, so it's just been nonstop between travel, meeting up with some crypto people, family, etc. Plus a property that is having some filtration issues and it's leaking on the neighbors, so all types of fun stuff. But anyways, at least Bitcoin actually started climbing aggressively over the past week, so let's dive into that chart really quick, and we'll just start off on that, and then we'll go over some recent news for a variety of alts. First up, for the Bitcoin price chart on the 3-day time frame, currently at 22,500, as we can see reaching on the 3-day, the 100 MA, this blue line. So since the beginning of January 1st, Bitcoin has actually pushed, give or take, about 40%. From 16.5 to over 23,000. And for a few alts, we're going to be looking on the 3-day time frame initially. I just want you to keep an eye on the RSI. As you can see, we actually pierced for Bitcoin and we got to push higher as well. But now we're in overbought territory, so we can expect some big volatility. We can also see the HBAR price chart did a very similar move all the way up to the 100 MA on the 3-day time frame, actually pushing over 100%. So from the low, about New Year's Day, give or take, we can see HBAR pushed from wick to wick over 120% to as high as 8 cents on Binance. We can also see the 3-day RSI and momentum pushing all the way up to overbought. Now looking at a few other alts that have done well over the past couple months or past week, let's dive into ALBT really quick. We can see Alliance Block from this low at 3.6 cents, wicked as high as almost 15 cents, a 300% increase, which is over a 4x return. We can see Fetch AI or FET from 5 cents pushing all the way to as high as 30 cents. A 480% move is a 5.8x return. And its RSI pierced much higher than many other alts, going as high as almost 90 up to about 88. You can see the buy volume came in and it just kept flying, cutting right through this blue 100 MA. And actually probably getting close to this 200 MA as well on the 3-day time frame. We also had Gala leading the way, so since December 30th, or really just the beginning of this month, Gala also did a 250% move plus, so that's over a 3.5x. RSI doing a very similar thing, and it's actually in position on the 3-day to pierce again, so very, very interesting. You could see this as a potential bull flag, and I'd be very curious to see where Gala goes next. I think the fact that Gala just did over a 3.5x and still sitting up today over 3x from its recent low might be a reason for a lot of people not to go after it. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Gala climb higher this year. And now zooming in, let's go down to the daily really quick. So for HBAR, from the high to the low, thus far, we actually wicked even past the 786. Bitcoin did a very similar move right around this area above the 618. And then Gala as well, just the same exact fib, wick to wick, we can see where it actually hit, and to perfection. We can see a double top, 2 wicks, right on the 702. Now what's interesting is when you see this RSI pierce at 70 going into overbought, it is a coin flip. If buy volume comes in, it can keep pushing. And we can see during this time, as it was piercing, we were actually right around probably 4 cents even. So we actually pushed from that level as we pierced much higher from 4 cents to as high as 5.5 cents. So I showed you a few examples of Alliance Block, Gala, Fetch. I believe also Kilt did over a 3x from the wick. Let me show you really quick. For some reason, it got kicked off my list. Let's pull it back up. So we can see Kilt also from the high to the low coming up to the 702, and from this wick we can do both as well. That is a 250% move, a 3.5x. If we use this wick, it's a little lower but still over a 3x return since even December. So great to see that some alts have already done a 2, 3, or even 5x plus, but there's a lot of alts that have yet to even wake up, and they're down over 90% after a very rough 2022. So now looking at Algo on the left-hand side and HBAR on the right, both on the 3-day time frame, we can see HBAR ran all the way up to the 100 MA, this blue line. It also pierced per the RSI. Now Algo on the 3-day for its RSI has more room to run up. It was still below that 53 level. HBAR from its low wick to wick actually pushed over 120%, whereas Algo is still up about 50% or so. Let me see. Yeah, 50%, wicking as high as 57. If we were to follow, because remember, HBAR, Bitcoin, a variety have reached this level. It wouldn't surprise me in the coming weeks, provided Bitcoin doesn't ruin the fun, to see Algo back over 30 cents. Let's draw some fibs and see where we're at per this swing high. We can see breaking past the 236, and for HBAR really quick, we can see that HBAR, of course, wicked past the 786. So for Algo, with a good retracement, I'd absolutely be looking for us to reclaim that 30-cent zone and turning this into support. So now on the daily and looking at the same level, and this is what I want to emphasize, you see HBAR right here when it pierces on the RSI, going through this purple, the momentum, it's in overbought. So this is where it's a coin flip. It could reject hard because it's overbought and there's been so much volume that's already come through and it's risky. And we can see around that time, HBAR was actually forming around 5.5 cents and we got an additional pop in volume pushing. And we pushed another 40% plus during this period in overbought. So that's absolutely possible for a few alts that are in position to turn up. Now looking at where Algo is, we can see some similarities, but we are below this 100 MA, whereas HBAR broke past it and formed another bull flag and pushed higher. So hopefully you can see the similarity of Algo right here versus HBAR right there. Now there's been some good news for HBAR, of course. We know there's over 3 billion transactions on Hedera's mainnet as well. So there's a lot of bullish catalysts, such as Hedera speaking at Davos, the World Economic Forum. I saw HBAR to the moon sharing on HEDERAtransactions.com over 3 billion right there. So we can actually visit that website and take a peek. So tons of good news for Hedera this month with Davos and the World Economic Forum discussing different law firms such as DLA Piper on a panel side by side, HSBC, I believe Standard Chartered, massive banks that we've all heard of, discussing tokenization, the tokenization of securities and digital assets. Now, DLA Piper is a massive law firm and they are on Hedera's governing council. They're also a CASPER partner. Now, there are a lot of layer ones in this space. It is oversaturated, it is competitive, but to see over 3 billion plus mainnet transactions is a big deal. If you have time, make sure you subscribe to the HBAR Bowl. This is actually a spare YouTube channel I have right here for clips and shorts. Let me make sure I subscribe and like. But this video is awesome. It's 50 minutes long. They always do quality updates for the Hedera ecosystem, and they're discussing right here with Rob Allen. He is the SVP for Ecosystem Acceleration for the HBAR Foundation. Now, I know nobody's happy because HBAR, a variety of assets, crashed over 90%. But in my opinion, not financial advice, HBAR or Hedera is one of the most legitimate layer 1 ecosystems out there. Over 360 million bucks allocated to reinvest into the ecosystem. You can go through the Metaverse Fund, Payments and Fintech, Sustainability, Crypto Economy Fund. We can see Web3 applications, and what's most important is enterprise applications. These are live, being built today. We have Toko built on Hedera with DLA Piper. This is huge. Remember, in a previous HBAR update, I also have a playlist on my YouTube channel. If you go to my channel and go to playlists, you can watch some Hedera updates as well, explaining the future of tokenization. And DLA Piper also got a license in Dubai. So we've talked about this a few times. Toko receives provisional virtual assets license from Dubai's Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. You have LG, of course, huge electronics, having an HBAR wallet building NFTs on Hedera for their smart TVs. So you can go through one by one. Of course, Avery Dennison had some great news, and I just encourage you, if you're looking at HBAR, before ever owning any type of asset, do your research, sit on it for a few weeks, don't FOMO, understand the risk and reward. Even after a really tough 2022, we had the black swan events of FTX drying up liquidity, a lot of fear, and rightfully so in markets. But what I personally believe is no matter how ugly it gets, that there's going to be certain projects that survive the next few years. And HBAR, without a doubt, is one in my opinion. On a variety of exchanges, also backed by Fireblocks, huge custodians right here for institutional users. This is super important. And just a little bit more about HBAR, and we'll move on to the next point, but all of those transactions we saw was from one single user, one single HBAR partner. Can you imagine the future where there are dozens of Hedera Governing Council members, not just testing applications, but using them at scale, billions of transactions? And that's where we believe utility can drive token price. We have Christian Hasker right here discussing Hedera is the greenest blockchain, 1,000 times less energy than Visa per transaction. You guys already know the council members. You can learn more at hedera.com/council. Absolute industry giants, including Google, Aberdeen Wealth Manager, Boeing, you name it. Shinhan Bank, where they also did a proof of concept for central bank digital currencies. And right here by Hedera, they processed over 300 million transactions, averaging 535 transactions per second. reached a new throughput all-time high of over 8,000 TPS and achieved transaction finality, being the key word, in 3.5 seconds on average. Speed, security, volume, utility. So we have Toko building, we have new users transacting on HEDERA. And I believe it was AK Bank, that AK Bank, I forget where they're based out of. I thought I saw them on a panel side by side with HEDERA. And remember that AK Bank is also a RippleNet user. They teamed up with Santander back in 2018 using RippleNet. So these groups are not just going to use one single network for everything. There's payment use cases, there's fraud mitigation use cases. There might be use cases for NFTs. So I just believe in a multi-chain future. I don't believe in just holding one asset and crossing my fingers and being a maxi. I hold several. We'll see what the future brings, and I personally hope for my own selfish reasons that HBAR does fall back down over the coming days to lower retracements, because I actually staggered some sells out and I did not sell the top. It kept pushing all the way up. I'm hoping to be able to buy back and improve my position by maybe 10-20%. And remember, that's just for my trading bag where I'm trying to improve my position. My long-term holds I do not touch. So I'm going through different assets on the weekly, 3-day, daily, looking at moving averages, drawing some fibs on high to low, looking at different resistance levels, as you can see here, blasting right through that. And really just going all the way across. Render's been a really good one for trading lately. Roser Oasis is another one. I'm looking at Cadena, KDA. And looking back at the total market cap for crypto, and I'm just using the Bitcoin halving dates as reference, these vertical lines. This leads to scarcity of the Bitcoin supply. And historically, multiple times, I mean, even back in 2012, 1, 2, 3, we've had several Bitcoin halvings, and historically, it's resulted in a huge climb or starting off a big cycle for the crypto market. Altcoins tend to follow, and it's because a lot of these utility-based networks are still in their baby days. They're nascent. They're still building out the network, building liquidity, fighting for regulatory clarity in certain jurisdictions. And friendly reminder, whether or not we agree on the outlook for the future of crypto or certain assets, I wish you guys well. I'm only sharing my opinion, and yes, I believe the future of the crypto asset class is going to be massive. Even back in 2013, the total market cap of Bitcoin in every single altcoin was under 1 billion, 800 million. We pushed up after the Bitcoin halving in 2012 up to 16 billion. That's a massive ROI, although the chart doesn't look it. That's over a 16x return. Same thing, from 16 billion to the next cycle top, 845 or almost $850 billion in 2017 or early 2018. I remember in early 2017, guys in crypto, and although I wasn't super active, I still paid attention. People said the crypto asset class would never hit 1 trillion, and then it almost did right there, and people would just say, told ya, crashing all the way back down to much lower levels, back under 200 billion from 845 billion. Years later, instead of just surpassing 850 billion, we did over a 3x to 3 trillion. These types of rises over the years are absolutely massive, and yes, they can be life-changing. And since then, like clockwork, whether we crash 60% or 90%, we can see we crashed about 70% plus for the crypto market. We've barely woken up, to be honest, 30-40% up from the low. So if we got up to $3 trillion with hype and NFT hype and gaming use cases, what do you think utility can bring for international payments, for smart NFTs that are upgradable on CASPER's network, for the tokenization of real estate or NFTs, and the tokenization of a liquid global assets like securities and commodities? I believe the crypto market can fly past 3 trillion, go past 5, go past 8, and so on. Even within this decade before 2030, the future is incredibly bright. The last Bitcoin halving was May 2020, and the next one will be around the spring of 2024. And shout out to my buddy Matt, he points out, historically, and going back to Bitcoin, you'll be able to see this, that before each halving, Bitcoin usually runs, 100% from the low, maybe a couple 100%. In this case, 400%, that's a 5x before the Bitcoin halving. We could use this low, but I'd much rather just use the March 2020. We can see before that, 128%, so that's over a 2x. Here was a 5x. So would it be crazy to see Bitcoin run up to 2x before the Bitcoin halving? No, not at all. I know a lot of people are bearish. There's a lot of people that are calling for incredibly low prices. Anything is possible in crypto. I don't hold much Bitcoin, but I do believe in the future of this asset class. And like it or not, Bitcoin for the time being does control the majority of the volume in this market. And with that being said, send it. We have Tokenizer right here. The crypto total market cap hit $3 trillion, mainly on meme coins, hype sponsors like FTX. We had DeFi casinos and random JPEGs. What's the value of a market driven by full interoperability, government applications, enterprise utility, and we're still discovering use cases to this day and global standards. And another point by Tokenizer. I need to get back into decentralized energy use cases. Of course, Energy Web we've been talking about since 2020. But we can see the energy market, $6 trillion. And looking at the market cap of some of these alts side by side, Logistics, 9 trillion. Business or enterprises, 76 trillion, CASPER and HBAR. Finance, 250 trillion. You can think Alliance Block for traditional finance, bridging to DeFi. We also have interoperability, QNT, infinite, or infinity, and I agree. The bridges between the legacy, even the new infrastructure. And adding XRP as well, we even have by payments.com. Over $155 trillion in cross-border payments are sent per year, with costs topping $200 billion. So yes, there's room for a variety of assets in the payment space like XRP, the interoperability space, the Oracle space, you name it. Also have Matthew Liony, we have Lulu right here discussing at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, the role of fully compliant technologies in achieving financial inclusion, including Brooks Entwistle, huge background, also SVP at Ripple. Also at HBAR listed right here on this exchange, Bank Social, so full disclosure, I've never heard of it, but hey, more on-ramps the better. And I love this by Anders. I think one of the very few legitimate ways to earn passive income from crypto will be processing transactions and offering liquidity to transactions from QNT and XRP. And this is just an example. For QNT, we'll have staking for gateways. And for XRP, offer liquidity to some XRP pool in the future. So super interesting. We even have the Crypto Chihuahua, great name. My neighbor's Chihuahua drives me nuts. Would you say basically it is a lending of XRP token assets to move enormous transactions along rails and then return to your custody? Anders says pretty much yes. I know that's David's ultimate vision, liquidity pools around the world. Makes me think of Mr. Pool. So imagine in the future there might be a variety of use cases for different networks, not just QNT and XRP as well. And in the world of investing, there's still so many people, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's getting very archaic and old, looking at dividend producing stocks and bonds, but there's going to be so many more creative ways to earn income in the future. Just like taking collateralized debt positions with proper risk, so you're not paying capital gains, that's what the wealthy do, so that they don't incur a taxable event. And some huge news for CASPER from their weekly roundup, and we'll discuss more XRP and CASPER in the next video. We have CASPER Labs and IPWE announced the deployments of 25 million patent NFTs. We also have XPRIZE and the DevX DAO right here announcing a €3 million grant program for CASPER developers. And the keyword back here, 25 million patents are NFTs on CASPER's blockchain for a company IPWE that exists on the Hyperledger Foundation, side-by-side companies like Ripple and Hedera. Dynamic NFTs. Remember that CASPER network today, and many other layer 1s will follow, I guarantee it, are the only ones with upgradable smart contracts and deployments. These NFTs can be upgraded and changed as necessary. And you can still have immutability for certain things if you so choose. But CASPER is so dynamic and fluid and versatile and so innovative to see the future, understanding that enterprises don't want to be boxed in to one technology forever. Just as the CEO of CASPER often says, the future is unwritten. And last but not least, linked in the top of the video description, be sure to check out right here and click this link. This is a promotion that I'm running with MEXC. We can see only users who register with MEXC using this link right here are eligible for these bonuses, and you can see we have 28 days left. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate hitting the like button and subscribing. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, my link tree is linked right in the top of this YouTube video description with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.